Howdy, this is Justin out in the workshop for Dirt Poor Outdoor. Now today, as promised, I wanted to do a video on this Coghlan's Nylon Tent Repair Kit. This thing is freaking awesome. If you see one of these, grab it. I got this at REI for $6. This was $6, and there's a ton of stuff in here. Now, Coghlan's, I know I and other people have been guilty of dogging on Coghlan's, but today I have to take my hat off to Coghlan's, because today I think they've outdone themselves. Because despite any other maybe imitation stuff, they're just filling a market niche. They've come up with this thing, and this thing is absolutely awesome. And I'm going to take it apart and show you. I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I fixed with it and what I did with it. But I'll show you the contents of it first. But I have never, I've seen repair kits, but I've never seen one like this, and it's meant to be taken with you with your tent, and it fixes so much more than just tents. So we'll get into that, but this is awesome. I got to take my hat off to them. This is something original that I think they've come up with that's absolutely great. So let's tear this open and take a look at the tag. We've got the list of contents. One thing that's not listed there that they give you is actually this little paper guide here, which shows you actually how to use all the stuff that's in here, which is pretty good advice. Once again, extra piece of paper in case you need one for any reason while you're out in the woods. But very clear instructions on how to utilize the contents and the repair techniques in there. Just a little extra guide thing there. So, what we get here is 2 adhesive-backed ripstop nylon patches. One 9-inch by 3-inch, 22.5 centimeter by 7.5. Navy blue, which is on camera, it probably looks blue, but it's actually kind of almost a grayish, I want to say, so it actually blends in pretty nicely with a lot of different colors, believe it or not. And then a 8 by 3-inch, 20 by 7.5 centimeter green, and you can see that's all I got left, because I'm going to show you some of the stuff I fixed with it. But you know, it's a nice nylon ripstop. You can see the grid, and it comes with a sticky back, so you cut out the size you need, stick it on there, and then sew and use seam sealer, and it's super strong. Let's see, then we get 2 mesh screen patches, 8-inch by 8-inch, 20 by 20 centimeter. Once again, I've used some of this, works great. You get one white, big huge section, and then you get one black. And then the needle actually comes stuck in that so that it doesn't poke anything like the sealed bag that it comes in. Next up, 2 spools nylon thread. I have actually replaced the green thread on here because I used it all up. On the repairs you'll see, but I will tell you it is a ton of thread. They give you a generous amount of thread on here. It's not just, you know, a yard or so. It's a lot. A whole ton, generous amount, and it is, and I got some of this is the original, the blue thread here, so in blue and green, and it's super strong, like woven, and nice and big, so it's very, very easy to thread stuff. So generous helping of repair thread. Next up we have the needle, which, like I said, is stuck in the mesh. Just look in there, it's in the mesh to make sure it stays safe, because it is super sharp. It's a big beefy needle. It is a number 4 or 60 millimeter needle. Once again, I don't know if you can see, super huge with a giant eyelet on there, so big thread, big eye on the needle, so that you can sew that or thread that out in the woods, out in the wilderness to sew with. It's a huge needle, super sharp, good quality. I bent the heck out of it here, because it hasn't broken yet, because I've used this thing to go through like multiple layers at a time. Super strong, super thick needle, great stuff, high quality needle they give you with that. Next up is 3 2.5-inch length, 7 centimeter, length tent pole ferrules, one each, 8.5 millimeter, 9.5 millimeter, and 11 millimeter for repairing the ferrules on the end of your tent poles. I haven't had to use one, but it's nice to see. Nice coated, not too terribly heavy for the kit, but nice metal, super strong metal ferrules, which you could certainly improvise to do, you know, a ton of different jobs out in the wilderness should you need to. So next up we have 45 inches or 114 centimeters of shock cord, which this is all I got left because I did have to repair a shock cord on a collapsible tent pole, because this stuff will, you know, rot after a while. So I used that to fix it, and it worked great. And they give you a healthy amount, so and it was a huge long tent pole, and I still had a little bit left to stick back in the kit. They give you a 1/2 fluid ounce bottle, 14.8 milliliter tube of seam seal. It's a good, decent, thick metal bottle, resealable cap. You know, a decent amount in there of seam seal to cover a big area. I haven't actually opened this because I had some other seam sealer that I was using, so I just use that, and then I keep this in the kit, you know, just in case when I take it out. You can tell it's the good stuff because it says, you know, danger, poison with a skull and crossbones on there, so full of a bunch of chemicals. You can tell that's good adhesive stuff. So decent, you know, doesn't look like that, it doesn't feel like this pouch is going to get punctured anytime soon. Plus it's got an extra wrapper over the top here with the label. So good extra thing to throw back in there and take with me just in case I need it. And then of course the reusable Ziploc bag that it comes in with a silica gel. And it is a decently thick bag to go ahead and store stuff in and take with you. They were smart enough, obviously, to put the punctures for the staples for the label on there up above the resealable zipper, so it's still a resealable bag, which you can throw your silica gel in there to keep everything nice and dry. You don't want your ripstop losing the sticky on there, or the shock cord to start rotting any of the cotton or anything that's in there. So all goes into a nice semi-permanent container. And then just a couple extra things I threw in there which I found handy was I got some military 225 cord for like a lanyard, which got some extra in there, and then some real thick plastic, which I had bought a sheet of tent floor protector for my tents, laid it out, did the silhouette, cut it out, and then had some extra left and put it back in there. And just as soon as I put it back in, I went to repair some other tents and I used it, and I actually cut out some sections here for a patch. So it matched perfectly, perfect color, nice thick material to keep the bottom of your tent from getting punctured. Just cut out two sections, held one under the tent floor and one inside the tent on top of it, and glued it with some seam sealer, and it worked great. So that's an extra thing in case Coghlan's is watching. You can throw a sheet of that in there as well, because that's a great thing to have. So that's all the content of all the stuff you get in there, and this is what's left after I've repaired about 4 tents, CFP 90 backpack, and some clothing. And I'm going to show you that and just kind of show you real quick what I did with that. So that's the contents of the kit. And everything that's all still left over, so that's a ton of stuff. First thing I used this to repair, used the kit to repair, was the CFP 90 backpack, and I'm probably going to do a review on that and just cover the things, the work I did on it a little more extensively, because it's in really good condition, but it had been used as cannibalized for parts, so it had some cut marks and tears where it had things harvested off of it. But it was in such great condition. I got a great price on it. It threw in the straps and all the hardware and the little Ranger bag that comes with it. So I got a lot of value for a real cheap price. All I had to do was fix it up, buy some of these Fastex buckles and some webbing, sew it back on, and then fix some of the holes and stuff that were in it. So the most grievous damage that was done to it was when they were cutting the straps off. They actually punctured the main compartment in a couple spots. I think they had actually ripped the webbing off. So what I did was, you can see I used a lot of the nylon ripstop. I cut out two sections, one for the outside, one inside, and then it stuck. Also put some webbing in there, sewed it all around, and then used seam sealer to go ahead and fix those. So there's a good couple spots here that I had fixed with that. Plus the buckles, like I said, they give you a generous amount of thread. All of this webbing, all of these tightening compression straps all over, I redid this entire backpack using that green thread and repaired some Alice pouches with it too. So like I said, they give you a ton of it. Also, I did four tents with it. Here's one of them. Big, huge tent. This is the one I repaired the floor on with that material. I also redid the screen on that with the meshing material, and sewed quite a bit. Used some of the blue thread. Like I said, it blended in rather nicely with the blue on that tent. So I did a whole ton of maintenance and used a bunch of the supplies on that. It was also the big, huge, this is like a 4 or 5 person huge tent. And this is what I used the shot cord on for its big, huge, one of its big main poles, which, God, had to be like at least 12 or 15 feet long from side to side. So that worked for that. And then I also have a little small tent here. Once again, little maintenance items. I don't think anything was seriously torn or broken, but you know, they always need some threading sewn on it. And then there's this this issue tent, one of the newer tents, spring-loaded, but this thing was used. You can see some of the patches on the cover. I had to kind of put this cover back together. Actually, the cover is in worse condition than the tent inside, but even the tent inside, there were some things to fix. So that's 4 different tents I managed to do with that, plus the CFP 90 backpack, plus some pouches I used material on to fix as well. So once again, that's a whole ton of stuff that I've done with this little kit. I got a lot of use out of this for $6. So this thing is awesome. You see this out at your store, grab it. It's definitely something you want to have around. So that's my review of the nylon repair kit, tent repair kit from Coghlan's. So this is Justin out in the workshop for Dirt Poor Outdoor. Get out there camping and don't let your gear intimidate you. You can fix it and set it up the way you need. So, signing off.